Hello and welcome to Task 60. In Task 60, you have the choice of creating one of these 4 assemblies. So you can take a look at all of the assemblies here, and your task is to choose one and create one of these assemblies. I am going to demonstrate how to make 2 of them, just in case you want to see some options. And if you end up making an assembly that is not captured in this video, but you kind of figure it out on your own, I think that's worth extra credit. So that would be 2 extra points. Anyway, let's get started. You are going to turn to your Shared with Me sidebar and look for the file starter blocks for tasks 60, 61, and 62. As you may have guessed, we're going to use these blocks for the next 3 tasks, starting with task 60 today. So once you find your starter blocks for tasks 60, 61, and 62, you're going to open it and create a copy of the workspace in your classwork folder. And let's name it. In this case, we are making task 60, right? So I'm going to name mine task 60 and I'm going to put my name on it. You should put your name on your task 60 as well. I am saving this file in my classwork folder. You should put yours in your classwork folder. And now we are ready. So we are starting with these parts in our part studio. We are going to first put our name on one of the blocks. I think I'm going to use the rectangular prism block here, so that it'll be easy to find my name when I am making my assembly. So I'm turning to the front. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this before, but connect a mouse. If you haven't connected a mouse yet, it would be very helpful for you when you're making an assembly. I am using a mouse, and right now I'm going to push down on the scroll wheel to scoot my whole canvas over to the left a little bit. So that way I have full access to this block here. That was my plan. I am going to look for here the text tool, and I'm going to add my name right here. Let's make it fit properly. So I'm just setting the size. I think I'm going to go with 0.75 for the width of my name. And here we go. I'm going to now do a quick extrude. I'm going to do a remove so that I'm etched into the block. Here's my name. And the depth can just be, I think, 0.05, not very deep. Okay, so I have my name etched into one of the blocks. That'll be good for when I submit. Next, I want to start creating an assembly. So we use this plus sign, we find the Create Assembly option, and we're looking at now an empty assembly. All we see is the origin. In order to bring in the blocks, I need to use the Insert button. Let's insert the blocks that we need. Oh, that means we've got to decide which assembly we're going to make. I'm going to start with the top left one here, and we're just going to bring in the tall, skinny rectangle, the cube, and the large rectangle here. So here's the cube, the large rectangle. Notice I'm only clicking on the pieces that I need, and here's the tall rectangle. Okay. So those are the 3 pieces I need. I'm going to click down on the graphics area to place them. And Now I'm going to right click on the graphics area and choose zoom to fit. That should recenter things and zoom out as much as I need to in order to see my blocks, all of my blocks properly. Okay, now that I have my blocks in place, I'm going to start with anchoring one of them to the origin. I think I will do that with the leftmost block. So I don't need to rotate it. I'm just going to hover over the circle in the triad manipulator here. And when I right click on the circle, I can choose move to origin. Let's see, so that looks good. I'm going to click off of the block now in the white area, and I see my block is in fact on the origin. Now that it's here, I'm going to go and hover over the block, and I'm only going to right click on it. I'm not using my left click button. And that gives me the option to fix. I can fix this block in place so that I won't be able to drag it around the screen anymore. So now I have one block placed and it is fixed. Notice, by the way, I didn't go through the instructions with you. For each of the assemblies you select, create the assembly, insert the needed objects, fix one of the objects, and create the assembly using fasten mates. So far we've done 3 of these. We've created the assembly tab, we inserted the needed objects with the insert button, right? We have fixed one of the objects. We fixed this green block in place. So now we're up to the 4th thing in this list, create the assembly using fasten mates. So let's do that. We're going to use fastened mate, as the instructions say. We'll click on fastened mate, and we want this green block to meet up with the cube. If you look at the image here, they're not centered on each other. They're really meeting at their base, right? I would say the bottom edge, the bottom right edge of the green block is meeting the bottom left edge of the cube. So I'm going to use the edges for connecting them. So we're going to fasten the bottom right edge here. I'm going to kind of turn the world around and find the bottom left edge of the cube. And that brings them together pretty well. Let's take a look at the isometric view. I think that's great. So I'm going to accept my mate, and now I'm ready to join the cube with the large rectangle. We're going to do a similar kind of technique. We're going to click on fasten mates. We're going to click on the bottom edge of the cube. We're going to turn the world. I think this time I'll use my mouse to turn things just to kind of practice. I use the right click button of my mouse to turn the world around. And now I'm going to click on the bottom left edge of the rectangular prism. Let me see. I don't think that looks right. No, I think I caught the center point instead of the edge on the cube. So let's do that again. I'm going to not accept that join or the mate. I'm going to try it again. Let's choose fasten mate. We'll click right on, I'm trying to click on the edge without clicking on a single point. So here's the edge line. And let me turn around again. And here's the edge line. I think that looks better. Great. Okay, so these blocks are lined up. They are mated. We can accept. It is not unusual to go back a step and try to do a mate again. You sometimes have to play with these things. Sometimes we mean to click in one spot and we end up getting a different little spot, which has a different result. So don't worry, you can always undo and try again, just like I did. So here we go. We have our 3 blocks. We have our name engraved. Make sure you follow through with step 5. Submit an isometric image of your assembly with the mate features eyes and with the hidden edges visible. So mate features are over here, and that means we want to click on the eyeball so that the mates are showing. That means I'm getting these little icons here that show we use the fastened mates type of mate. And then we're also going to come to the View Cube menu, and we're going to find Hidden Edges Removed, and we want to change this option to make hidden edges visible. This will let me see the lines that are hidden from me. So there we go. You have completed task 60 at this point. Good luck with the project. Let me know in class if you have any questions.